Hi there. I'm just your average traveler who stumbled upon something extraordinary. Let me tell you about Fernando David. Once a Marine, Fernando traded his uniform for a set of house keys, starting with just one rental property. But Fernando had a dream: to revolutionize how we travel and own property. He founded Dream Vacations by PMI, turning one small rental into a hospitality empire. Fernando's secret? Treating every guest like family and every home like his own. His team mastered digital storytelling, making every trip feel like a blockbuster adventure. Fernando didn't just help travelers. He transformed overwhelmed hosts into thriving business owners. His travel agency bundled beautiful stays with affordable flights, making dream vacations a reality for thousands. Whether you're chasing sunsets or returns on investment, with Fernando, you've struck gold. Fernando David isn't just building a business. He's building dreams, one happy traveler at a time.
All right, welcome my beautiful people to STR News and Digest, the live stream where we break down the latest news in short-term rentals and travel so that you stay informed, people. And I have a lot of information, some important information that, especially if you're traveling to Europe, I got some information we're going to be talking about. I'm also going to give you an update because I got a bunch of questions related to hotels tonight and their offer, how they're offering Airbnb credits. So we're going to go into that in a little bit. But let me give you a quick breakdown. We're going to be talking about some major changes in travel, some natural disasters that could impact you or your guests if you're short-term rental operators, some airline expansions that I think it's huge. I've been talking about this for a little bit, but I think you should be aware of it because it's going to give you an opportunity to travel to places that you normally probably haven't thought about traveling to. I'm going to go into as to why now is going to be the opportunity to do that. We're also going to talk about the latest hotel industry data that might affect how you price and promote your short-term rental. So if you're watching live, do me a favor. If you have a question, put it in the chat. If you are on any of the social media channels, go ahead and either raise your hand or ask whatever questions. Let's try to make this as informative as possible. I used to do this on Sunday mornings. I'm changing it to every Wednesday every Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Today I started a little late, but normally right around 6 p.m. I'm going to be connecting and giving you some of the latest news as it relates to travel and short-term rentals. So let's start first with let's go over to Europe and let's talk what's news about Europe. Number one, let's talk about the electronic travel authorization, ETA, right? I talked about this before, but I just want to remind you, if you're going to the UK, this is in effect, people. You're going to have to go online and register for the electronic travel authorization. Now, it's only 10 euros until April 9th. Then it decreases to 16 euros. And again, it's going to be required from all travelers. Now, the question that I have, and I'm not 100% sure of the answer because I'm getting conflicting stories, is if you're going into London as a layover before going someplace else. I know there was a lot of controversy over this when it was implemented. A lot of people were saying that if they're using it as a layover, it should not be required. I believe they changed it, but I can't find anything online to confirm that it was changed. So before you actually travel, even if you have a layover in the UK, confirm with the airlines. Hey, do I need to fill out the ETA if I'm only going to be in London as a layover before going to my final destination? Excuse me, I'm recovering from a cold. My sinuses are killing me right now. Now, who needs to fill this out? It's going to be all U.S. passport holders If you're from Australia, you're going to need to do it. If you're from the UE, you're going to need to do it. Now, if you're a Irish citizen or in an Irish passport, you are exempt from this requirement. Again, that's something to keep in mind. If you are a short-term rental operator in London, please include this in your check-in instructions or in your guest communications. Let people know what the requirements are before they arrive into London. Excuse me. I know a lot of people had that issue, so make sure you take care of that. Yeah, I got something in my teeth. I'm having a rough day today, people. All right, now let's talk about weather, because there's been a lot of weather incidents. Right now, for example, in Spain, the Canary Islands, they're being battered by a storm there. It's affecting the mainland and it's affecting the outer islands. And that rain and heavy wind is expected to last all week. So if you're planning to go to Canary Islands, and you haven't been notified yet of a cancellation, expect a cancellation coming soon, or at least stay abreast of that. Now, I'm going to give you an update on Greece. If you're not aware, Greece is recovering from some major flooding that has affected all the popular islands in Greece. Again, that same storm system that has hit the Canary Island hit Greece first, and they had major flooding, and it closed down. And as of this airing, as of right now, the famous Blue Lagoon is still closed. So check with if you're planning to go to Greece. Again, right now the airports are open and everything's open. But if you're going to the if you're going to one of the islands, or you have a short-term rentals booked or hotel booked on the island, reach out to them and see what the status is, because chances are you may not be able to go, so you're gonna have to change your plans. I know for me, I'm traveling to Europe in May, and I was planning on going to Greece. I changed plans. I'm going to spend most of my time in Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and France, and I'm going to skip Greece for now. They're just having way too many issues for me, so I'm going to skip that. Now, here's some good news. I just gave you some bad news in terms of weather, and I gave you some information about the ETA. Now let me talk about, and especially if you're a short-term rental operator in the States or some of these remote areas, and I talked about this before. Here's what what you need to understand is that right now, and if you recall, I've talked about the Airbus A321XLR. What's the Airbus 32XLR? That Airbus is a smaller version of the bigger Airbuses that fly internationally. Now, because this Airbus has the same capacity or distant capacity, but much smaller, now they have opened up a lot of routes that didn't exist last year. I'm going to give you some routes as an example. But with this Airbus, now all these smaller airports can accommodate long distance travelers. I'm going to give you some examples, right? So, for example, if you're traveling from Ireland, Dublin to be exact, to Nashville, Tennessee, to give you an example, now you can fly direct from Dublin. Same thing applies from Paris to, let's say, Montreal in Canada, Paris to Nashville. What's another small airport? Paris to West Palm Beach. So now you have the ability, I would check on the airlines, but now you have the ability to hop on these smaller Airbus at cheaper prices and at smaller destinations. You don't have to go to the major hubs anymore. For me, that's big news. Again, especially if you like, and I've been talking about this for a while, hopefully you're taking my advice. Stop going to these major hubs, at least for a little bit. When I say a major hub, like Madrid, Barcelona, Rome, New York City, these major hubs, have gotten very expensive because of over tourism. And what I'm asking you to do is help the industry out by finding smaller hubs that are just as beautiful. And if you want to spend a day, let's say, for example, like now I'm going to France, right? But I'm going to go to the southern part of France. Now, if I want to go to Paris, once I'm there, I can go take a day trip to Paris by train. So in a couple of hours, spend a day in Paris, but go back to southern France and stay in southern France, right? Accommodations are much cheaper. Food is much cheaper. Transportation is much cheaper. And you get a much better experience. You get a much more immersion and feeling when you do that. So highly recommend that you do that. So that's, again, good news there. But now let's flip it. And I'm going to flip it. I'm going to give you a little bit more negative news. Now, I don't know if I truly believe what some of the pundits are saying. But right now, I'm going to read to you the numbers, right? International tourism, based on some numbers that are coming out of the U.S., international tourism to the U.S. is expected to drop by 9.4% this year. Experts are blaming the economy, the uncertainty in terms of immigration and what's happening and some of the controversial policies that the Trump administration is doing, and some high-profile detentions in the U.S. border, right? Now, I don't know where they got that 9.4% number. I don't know where they got that from. I personally haven't seen even a bit of a drop in my occupancy rates on my properties. As I mentioned, if you follow my channel, January, February, and March were the highest number that I've seen in a very long time. I talked about TSA giving out their travel numbers, the highest numbers. So I don't know if this is actually true, but they're saying that, for example, in Germany, I'm trying to remember. Let me see if I can find the countries. Germany was one of them. England was another one that put out travel warnings to their citizens, just like the State Department puts travel warnings, and I'm going to talk about some that they put out recently. Germany put out a travel, and this kills me, right? Germany and London, those are the two that I'm reading right now. They put out travel advisory to their transgender citizens to not to reconsider if they're coming to the U.S. because of a hostile environment. Anyway, I don't know if this is true. I'm giving you the news as it's out there. But let me know what you think. Are you seeing, if you're in the industry, let me know if you are seeing a drop in occupancy rates because of the controversial policies that Trump is putting out, especially as it relates to immigration. Now, again, without getting overly political here, I don't know. I'm asking about that 9.4%, where they got that number because I don't think there's enough transgender people that are going to rise to that number. And if you are an illegal, you're not going to be on this number anyway. So I don't know where they got that number. But let me move on. Just be aware of that, especially if you're a short-term rental operator. They're saying that there may be some issues with international travelers. I'm going to give you an example that this just came out. Canada, and that was another country. Canada put an advisory not to boycott the U.S. And I'm telling you, here in Florida, anyways, I don't know any parts of the world, Canadians are coming. In fact, Pompano and Hollandale are two cities in which I normally, this time of year, from February, March, in April, I usually get an influx of Canadians. I got an influx of Canadians, and when I asked one of them, "Hey, I thought there was a boycott," they're like, "Nah, we're not boycotting the U.S." So again, I don't know where they got these numbers, but let me move on. Let's talk about the hotel industry. Hotels saw a slight rise in revenues. Again, look at the contradictory here. The hotel industry saw a slight rise in revenue in recent weeks, mostly due to spring break travel. RevPAR went up 2.8%. And they're adjusting that RevPAR for inflation, and they're saying that there may be some travel fatigue because January, February, and March were such great numbers that there may be a slowdown. But again, if the hotel industry is seeing a rise in revenue, that means there's more people staying there, right? At least, I don't know. For me, that's a clue. You tell me what you think. If there's a rise in revenue, if that means there's a decline in tourism, I don't know. But you as a short-term rental operator, pay close attention to your numbers. They're raising their rates. If you see that your occupancy rate is high, raise your rates, people. I've always said the magic number for occupancy rate, at least for me, is between 75 and 85% occupancy rate. If I go higher than 85, that means my rates are too low. I increase those rates because, number one, I don't want 100% occupancy rate. I want to stay within that 75 and 85. So pay attention to your numbers. Your numbers are really, really, really important. Now, let me go over. Let me make sure I covered the decline. I covered that. Okay, let's go over hotel tonight. And let me see if I can find it. Where did I put it out? Here it is. All right, there was a lot of confusion. I got a lot of calls and messages related to the story I gave out on hotels tonight. Let me reiterate this part. First of all, Hotels Tonight is an online booking platform. It's just like Expedia, just like a lot of these other OTAs, right? And I'm going to, again, just so there's no confusion here, I'm going to go ahead and read right off the website. Hotel Tonight offers Airbnb credit rewards. Is there a question here? No. Question? No. Guys, if you have a question, just put it in the chat so I can answer it. So they're offering Airbnb credit rewards for travelers. So and this it's in effect now. Hotel Tonight has launched a new benefit allowing users to earn Airbnb credit for every stay booked through their app as part of his Hotel Tonight Perks loyalty program, right? The feature will allow is now available to guests in the UK and US. So if you're not in the UK, not in the US, it's not available to you yet, but it will be. And gives travelers 10% of the booking value in Airbnb credit. Now, this excludes taxes and fees. The credits are valid for 1 year from the stay date and can be redeemed on any future bookings. People, I love this program. If you don't have the app, get the app. Number one, the rates are very competitive with every other OTA. And if you're a traveler like me, as I mentioned before, if I'm going to travel by myself for a few days, 1, 2, maybe 3 days, I'm staying in a hotel. If I'm traveling longer than that, I'll look for an Airbnb because I need a washer and dryer. I need more space. Again, I do a lot of my work remote, especially if I'm going to do a podcast. I don't want to be in a little hotel room. So I'll get an Airbnb, or if I'm traveling in a group or with at least 4 people, It is much cheaper, much better, much more convenient to stay at an Airbnb. But when you combine these two, right? When you combine it, it's a 10% can add up very quickly as credits, right? Highly recommend that you take advantage of this new perk with Hotel Tonight. That is going to be, oh no, I almost forgot again. Let me give you some of the offers again. Let me share my screen. I always forget to give you the offers or some discounts, some deals. Let me see, let's go to the deal. Last time I gave you deals on cruises. Today I'm going to give you deals on, oh, and I forgot to talk about the State Department advisory. I'm going to talk about now, since I'm going to talk about the Caribbean and some of the deals that are being offered in the Caribbean. Let me share my screen real quick. All right. The first offer is beaches and Turks and Caicos. Now, if you watched the STR News last week, I talked about the travel advisory for this particular country. There's the State Department also issued a travel advisory for the Bahamas. Now, this for me is big news because almost every cruise line that travels in the Caribbean will stop in the Bahamas. Now, the travel advisory gives you a list of the cities and provinces within the Bahamas for you to stay away from because of high crime. In addition, in that travel advisory, they talk specifically about excursions, water excursions, like renting jet skis, going on a boat, etc. In recent months, there's been a lot of accidents. I believe there was 2 deaths also related to some of these excursions. People, the Bahamas, a lot of places in the Caribbean, a lot of places in South America are not, these excursions, these companies are not regulated. So when you go out there, the same goes in Asia. Man, I've taken some excursions where I'm like, there is no freaking way I'm going to trust these people. I mean, it was super shady, but use common sense. The incidents that I'm talking about that happened in the Bahamas were incidents on jet skis. Again, I hate to Monday morning quarterback people, but man, if you're going to act a fool on a jet ski when there's a lot of boat traffic, you're just asking for trouble. Point here is use common sense, be very careful when you're traveling overseas, specifically on, for example, Mexico. There's a lot of issues right now in Mexico, and it doesn't matter where you go in Mexico. I recently went to Cancun. The week that I was there, the week prior that I was there was a shooting in one of the resorts. There was a hit on a guy, but the point is you got to be very careful when you use a lot of common sense. Don't go anywhere that you shouldn't go. Don't take drinks from people you don't know. Again, just be careful when you travel overseas. They don't have the same regulations, same rules, or the laws. As I talked about before, one of the reasons why they issued, I think it was on Trinidad, Tobago, State Department issued a advisory there, was because there was a lot of American citizens that were arrested just for having ammunition in their bags because they forgot. They have very strict laws, gun laws and ammunition laws in some of these countries. They don't mess around. So again, don't act a fool. Be careful what you're doing and you'll be fine. Now let's go over these offers. For example, this one, you can save up to 65%, up to $400 of instant credit for 7/7 savings. for 7-night offer with 7% off on 7 selected rooms. Sandoz, this is a beautiful property. You can save up to 55%, $1,000 instant credit if you book that resort. This next one, also a Sandoz property, 65% off, $635 instant credit, 1 night free. Another Sandoz property. Sandoz, all these are Sandoz property. They must be really having some financial issues because they're giving away their stays. And these properties are beautiful. Here's one and actually stayed in this place, Breathless Punta Cana Resort. Beautiful property. It's an adult-only property. I love these adult-only properties, especially if you're that type of person. I mean, I'm a male, but if you're a female and you like to hang out by the pool or the beach topless, no problems in these adult-only resorts. So you can get an even tan. But they come highly recommended. This was 40% off, and then you get a $200 instant savings when you book these properties. Again, if you guys have any questions on any deals, or you want to go to a specific area and want to know if there's a deal out there, DM me, people. We have deals on flights, cruises, resorts, you name it, we have the deal. If you're coming to South Florida, we're entering April. April, May are what we refer to our slow months. And right now, we're offering a lot of discounts. Not these next 2 weeks. It's the latter part of April and the beginning of May. If you DM me, you can stay at some beautiful properties for almost 40% off the regular rates. Highly recommend if you want to come to Florida. If you're from up north, want to leave the cold and need a quick break, right now the weather is beautiful down here. Highly recommend you take advantage of that.
Fernando, so someone asked if you can send the link. I already sent the link, but there is another link, or do you want me to share anything else?
The link to what? To my website?
Yeah.
Just share the link. It's
I already did.
Yeah.
But I want to tell you, like someone asked.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's the link, people. Lorena just shared it. It's fdavid.dreamvacations.com, right? F for Fernando, David, dreamvacations.com. Now, I got a question for you because I forgot to ask this in the very beginning. We've been doing a lot of animation videos. If you're watching and you've seen some of the animation videos, let me know quickly. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Are you liking them? Should we do more? Very interesting to know. And one of the reasons why we're doing animation videos is, I said this before, I'm not a genius. I'm not the smartest person out there. But I'd like to take clues from people in successful company. And if you've been watching, Airbnb's commercials are all animations. So I'm taking that as a clue that I should do the same. So I've been doing some animations. So
Facebook is like thumbs up, like they like it, and hearts, a little heart. So
love you guys. So we'll be doing more animations. In fact, I'm going to close this out because I am done. Let me close this out with the latest animation. Now, the guy, it's funny because when we did the voiceover, it's AI that does the voice for this animation. When we did it, he said my last name as David, which is in Spanish, but then he says David at the end. Made me laugh. So let me see if I can share the video again. Boom. Let me see if it comes out. Can I do this? Can I do it? Can I do it?
Hi there. I'm just your average traveler who stumbled upon something extraordinary. Let me tell you about Fernando David. Once a Marine, Fernando traded his uniform for a set of house keys, starting with just one rental property. But Fernando had a dream: to revolutionize how we travel and own property. He founded Dream Vacations by PMI, turning one small rental into a hospitality empire. Fernando's secret? Treating every guest like family and every home like his own. His team mastered digital storytelling, making every trip feel like a blockbuster adventure. Fernando didn't just help travelers. He transformed overwhelmed hosts into thriving business owners. His travel agency bundled beautiful stays with affordable flights, making dream vacations a reality for thousands. Whether you're chasing sunsets or returns on investment, with Fernando, you've struck gold. Fernando David isn't just building a business. He's building dreams, one happy traveler at a time.
All right, my beautiful people. Love you guys. Thank you for being on. Enjoy the remainder of your evening. Love you guys. I will see you next week.
Hi there. I'm just your average traveler who stumbled upon something extraordinary. Let me tell you about Fernando David. Once a Marine, Fernando traded his uniform for a set of house keys, starting with just one rental property. But Fernando had a dream: to revolutionize how we travel and own property. He founded Dream Vacations by PMI, turning one small rental into a hospitality empire. Fernando's secret? Treating every guest like family and every home like his own. His team mastered digital storytelling, making every trip feel like a blockbuster adventure. Fernando didn't just help travelers. He transformed overwhelmed hosts into thriving business owners. His travel agency bundled beautiful stays with affordable flights, making dream vacations a reality for thousands. Whether you're chasing sunsets or returns on investment, with Fernando, you've struck gold. Fernando David isn't just building a business. He's building dreams, one happy traveler at a time.